So this is a video about how I fixed my distal bicep tendonitis. It's a bit of a long-winded explanation, but for those who can't be bothered to listen to that, I'll just tell you the method straight away, although I would advise it would be best to listen to the whole thing. So the method is, you're going to start from the very beginning. You're going to start off with 1 kilo and work your way up, and you'll train your tendon 3 times a week. So we'll use Monday, Wednesday, Friday as an example. On Monday, you'll do a regular bicep curl with 1 kilo for 2 reps, and that's it, only 2 reps. Then you won't train on Tuesday. Wednesday, you'll add 2 reps, so that's 4 reps. And then Friday, you'll add another 2 reps, and that will be 6 reps. So you'll be adding 6 reps. You'll be doing 6 reps per week until you reach a point where you can do 2 sets of 18 reps, and then you'll move up 1 kilo. That's a slow method, but it's a method I had to come up with for myself to guarantee progress. For the long-winded explanation with the details, I'll have to explain my story from the beginning to get it all out, basically. So the reason I ended up with lower distal bicep tendonitis is because I had elbow tendonitis at the time, and I was trying to get rid of it. I succeeded in getting rid of it, and then accidentally replaced it with bicep tendonitis. It was quite painful, especially in the beginning, and then I was very quickly trying to do research to figure out how to train around it. So then I started training around it and avoiding basically anything that resembled a bicep curl. I did physiotherapy, lots of different physiotherapy methods, and none of them worked for me. And I was left frustrated, experimenting with trial and error for about a whole year because nothing was working. And after lots and lots of research, eventually I found out that the methods that physiotherapy recommend for people isn't something that's guaranteed to work for every single person. It works for most people, but what I found out and what physiotherapists don't tell you is that not all tendonitis is the same for everyone. And it wasn't the same for me, so I had to do a lot of trial and error to eventually figure out. I don't want to say a way that works for me. I was so frustrated. I needed a method that no matter how slow it was, it guaranteed progress. So in the beginning, I went really slow, and I didn't do regular bicep curls. I only did negative reps because your tendon and your muscles handle more weight, obviously, doing negatives. So when I first started off, I was training the tendon 3 times a week, but I wasn't doing 2 reps each training day. I was doing 1 rep each training day, which is agonizingly slow progress. So I did that with 1 kilo until I got to 12 reps, and I rinsed and repeated the process till I got to 4 kilo, 12 reps. Then I tried 5 kilo. My tendon didn't like it. Also, I should probably explain that not everybody can use their pain as a guide in the same way that other people can. So some people, they'll get pain during, and they have to keep it to between a 1 to a 3 out of 10. But other people don't get that, so the way they can tell if they're doing good or bad is the morning after. So when they're exercising the bicep, they won't feel any pain during, but the next morning, if you've done something the tendon didn't like, you'll know about it. It will be in bad pain. So ideally you want to wake up the next morning with either the same pain that you were in the day before, or less pain. So back to what I was saying, I tried 5 kilo for 1 rep, negative rep. It didn't like it one bit. I dropped back to 4 kilo and decided I'll build the reps up to 18 reps. Then I'll go back to 5 kilo and my tendon should accept the new weight. So I did that. It did not accept the new weight. So now I was really panicking and thinking this is not happening. I was just frantically racking my brain for ideas, and I thought, fuck. Let's go back to the beginning and start all over again, except this time I won't do negative reps only. I'll do regular bicep curls because maybe that will work. Plus, doing regular bicep curls, working your way back up the weight, you'll probably get a bit of a pump and you'll get blood flow going, which always helps to heal the body. But this time I thought I really need a way to guarantee that the next weight always gets accepted. So I thought I'll do 2 sets. I'll build up to 2 sets of 18 reps before moving up weight. So while I was doing this, I was still only adding 1 rep each training day. So I was only accumulating 3 total reps each week. So I did that till eventually I got to 4 kilo for 2 sets of 18, then tried 5 kilo, and finally it accepted it no problem, which was a great fucking relief. And then I kept doing, I was doing 5 kilo for a while, and then I thought maybe the tendon might be able to handle progressing slightly faster by adding 2 reps at a time. So I did that, and it was fine. Eventually I tried 3 reps at a time. It didn't like, it was fine. I did it on the Monday, that was fine. Did it again on the Wednesday, but then woke up the next morning with not bad pain, but some slight pain. So I thought that's not good, because if I keep doing it, I'm just going to keep accumulating more and more fatigue. And the tendon will just get overworked, and it's just going to backfire on me. So I went back to 2 reps per training day. And I didn't always do strictly regular bicep curls. A lot of times I would mix it up while I'm in the middle of doing a set between hammer curls and regular bicep curls. So I was doing good. And then I thought I would try something risky. I knew of an exercise that Olympic gymnasts do to train their biceps for making them stronger to lift themselves up on the rings. I can't remember what the exercise is called that they do, but they use dumbbells, and they sort of sit on the floor with their legs kind of up a bit, and then they'll have a hold of the dumbbell like this with the palm facing up and their arm completely locked out and straight, and then they'll do this for reps. But they start out with really lightweight, literally 1-2 kilo, and slowly build up because of the tendon being in its most compromised position. I thought maybe I'll do a slightly modified version of that. That's still putting strain on the tendon in a compromised position, but not not as much strain as that. So I would basically be doing shoulder raises for the front delt. So instead of me having my hand like that, I would have it like this. But at the elbow joint, instead of me having it twisted more round so that the inside of my elbow's facing that way, I would purposefully keep it twisted round so it's facing up the way. So I thought I'll attempt the same method that's been working for me. I'll start with 1 kilo and I'll add 2 reps each time. But then it was the choice between, do I go to 1 set for 18 before going up 1 kilo, or do I do 2? So I thought, fuck it, I'll try 1. And it's been working. I've been doing that alongside regular bicep curls, which I wasn't even sure would work because I thought the tendon would be accumulating too much stress. But it seems to be working fine. So I've been doing that and I've managed to get all the way up to 4 kilo, and next week I'll hit 5 kilo. And the reason for doing this is because training your tendon, with it being its most compromised position, is really going to speed up the amount of progress you make. So that's what I've been doing, and my tendonitis is practically fixed. When you're going about your day-to-day life and activities, you really need to be mindful of your tendon and keep it protected at all times. Don't be trying to lift something that you know is potentially, if you think there's even a 50-50 chance that it might aggravate your tendon and it's going to be in pain the next day or set you back a little bit, just don't even bother. Even with silly little things, you know, like let's say you have a glass jar, jam jar or something like that, and don't bother using all your strength to open that and potentially fuck up your bicep tendon. Get someone else to open it for you, and don't bother about feeling embarrassed about that. Just it's not worth fucking up your tendon. One thing I'll say is, technically speaking, you can still lift a lot of heavy things up. I figured this out by accident. You can practically pick anything up, but it's kind of awkward the way you have to do it. So obviously, if you see my arm right now, if I lift my arm right up and put the forearm against the bicep and lock it in place, if you keep your arm like that and say something really heavy, like 15-20 kilo, if you put your arm like that and just keep it like that while you bend down to grab a hold of it, and then you're picking it up, you walk somewhere, and then same thing, when you put it, keep your arm locked in at all times, and then you can set it down. You can get away with doing that for lifting a lot of stuff. Basically, it's because the tendon is in a very, very protected position. You might get a little bit of pain after it, but it's not the kind of bad pain. It'll usually be like maybe a 2 or 3 out of 10, and it should only linger for like half an hour, maybe 1 to 2 hours max, and then it should be gone. Believe it or not, that will actually help your tendon out. But I wouldn't suggest going overboard, going crazy. Just if you have to lift something heavy, that's the way to do it. That's the way I did it in the gym when I was still trying to train around it and load and unload 20 kilo plates for squats and bench pressing. That's the other thing I should probably explain, is how to train around lower bicep tendonitis. It's easier to train around if you only have it in one arm, but I had it in both arms. And like I said, with all weights you're picking up and putting down in the gym, always do what I just explained there before, with keeping your arm locked in. I'll keep that in mind. And when you're picking things up and moving them, you You can reach down and pick it up, but you need to keep your arm perfectly locked out straight, and it must be you see the way my hand is, it must be like this when you're picking it up, and keep it like this. None of the sideways action. Definitely don't pick something up like that, even if your arm is locked straight in position. And you can pick up almost any weight if you're picking it up like that. The reason I say that is because you can still deadlift even if you have lower bicep tendonitis, distal bicep tendonitis, sorry. But if you're going to deadlift, you have to use a double overhand grip. You can't be using a switch grip, and it's better to either use straps. I use straps just to help take a bit of extra stress off the tendon. If you're going to still go barehanded, you'll have to use chalk, and you'll have to use an Olympic hook grip. If you don't know what a hook grip is, normally when we grip the bar for deadlifting, you'll essentially put your hand the same way you would make a fist, and the thumb comes over the fingers. But with a hook grip, it has to be the opposite way. So you're wrapping around the bar, and the thumb, you have to get the thumb tucked in, and then get the fingers over and lock the thumb in. So you'll be gripping it like that. You're essentially making your own deadlift strap. If you're not used to it, it can hurt your thumb. It does squash it quite a great deal, but you get used to it. When you're loading and unloading weights for deadlifting, just be really, really careful, and don't care if you look stupid trying to load the weights. Just always keep the tendon protected. Squatting's easy, like I said, about keeping your arm locked in when you load and pick the weights up, load and unload. When you're squatting, don't have your arms too far out on the bar, because then you're going to be putting a lot of stress into the tendon. Try and keep your arms really in as much as you can. Bench pressing, pretty much the same deal. Like if you have a wide bench press or even a medium bench press, you probably don't want to be doing that anymore. You need to bring your bench pressing width in a lot more. Most definitely inside the rings that are on the bar. So I mean, there's no need to do a close grip tricep bench press, because that's specifically for the triceps. But definitely bring your grip in a lot more to try and keep the tendon protected. Dumbbell shoulder raises are probably not a good idea to be doing, and you probably have to ditch them altogether. I know I did. The other thing I would say is, even when you make good progress and you get to the point where you're lifting you're doing a bicep curl with quite a heavy weight, still be cautious and don't trust the tendon. If you were to ask me what kind of weight would you have to be lifting to be able to say, yeah, it's guaranteed fixed, probably somewhere between 15 and 20 kilo. But I know not everybody can do a bicep curl for that much weight, and obviously when starting from 1 kilo and working your way up as you progress, although you are doing 2 sets of 18, the reps are naturally going to start dropping. So at some point when the weight gets quite heavy, you might have to switch to just only hammer curls, because you can lift more weight with hammer curls. And if it gets really too heavy, then you might have to switch to negative reps only, or doing as many hammer curls as you can, then switching to negative reps halfway through your set. And obviously it doesn't have to be It's two, well, like I said, it's 2 sets of 18 reps, but it doesn't have to be 18 reps straight. You know, you could just do a set of 10, rest 2 minutes, then do the 8 for that first set of 18, and then repeat that. Obviously, the longer you rest, the more oxygen is back into the muscle, and you'll be able to squeeze a lot more reps out. The only other thing I could say about supplements that might sort of help you get more of a pump, to get more blood flow going, would be creatine and a supplement called L-citrulline. You can get it in powdered form off Amazon. You just take how many scoops is it? I can't remember if it's 6 scoops or something, I forget. But you take that like maybe half an hour before going to the gym, and you'll get a really good pump with that stuff. Another thing I would say is don't stress about the slowness of the progress. It would not be a good idea to try and progress as fast as possible, because if you're doing that, like I tried to do that, you're going to take a lot of steps forward, but even more steps back. And the problem is, it's like balancing on a knife's edge. If you're really going at the maximum pace that your tendon is allowing you, then if one slight thing, just one small minor thing happens in your day-to-day life that your tendon would normally handle fine, it will set you back. Because if you're right on the very edge of what's possible for making progress with your tendon, you're not leaving much margin for error, because your tendon's at its limit with how much stress is accumulated. So if you're already on the edge of that, and then you do one small thing that would normally be fine, that's enough to just tip it over the edge, and then you have a setback. You need to go at an in-between pace, an okay pace that still leaves you room to have a small fuck up, and then it's only a tiny setback by maybe a few days or a week or something, instead of screwing yourself over and then having to wait 2-3 weeks, a month. So just don't stress about the progress. Progress is progress. It's, especially myself, all that time spent trying to go as fast as possible, and by the time, I think it was maybe a year or a year and a half, by the time I figured out how to get this to work for me, I was so fucking annoyed, because I thought, Jesus Christ, if I had known, if I had decided to go this slow in the beginning, or had figured out this method at the beginning, I would already have gotten rid of this distal bicep tendonitis. So that's what I mean about don't stress about progress. Progress is progress. At least if you're relentlessly making progress, then success is guaranteed, and that's exactly what you want. So that's it. I think I've covered just about everything. There might be a couple of things I've missed out, but I spent a long time doing a shitload of research and tried essentially everything until I figured out my own way. But if there's any questions or anything anybody's unsure of, just ask me in the comments, and I'll reply as best I can with as much detail as I can. So that's it. I hope this video helps someone, and have a good day. Bye bye.